Welcome back, everyone. While the establishment pushes its manufactured Russia scandal, here on The Next Revolution, we like to focus on actual scandals. You know, things like mounting evidence that the leading Democratic candidate for president has been compromised by America's #1 enemy. As we've reported on Swamp Watch, Joe Biden, while he was vice president, took billions of dollars in bribes from the Chinese government in the form of payments to his son Hunter's businesses. In exchange, Biden was soft on Chinese military and economic aggression. I asked President Trump about it. Don't you think that should be investigated, that financial connection? The Chinese government putting billions of dollars into Biden family business.
100%. It's a disgrace. And then he says China is not a competitor of ours. China is a massive competitor of ours.
It's also a massive abuser of human rights. And guess who's helping them do that? The Chinese government has recently developed a phone application designed to surveil ethnic minority Muslims. The technology relies on facial recognition software created by a Chinese company called Face++, which is a division of a major startup called Megvii. And one of Megvii's most prominent investors is none other than Hunter Biden, even as Joe runs for president. The Biden family is profiting from helping the authoritarian Chinese regime oppress its religious minorities. Hashtag Joe China. Spread the word. All right, let's discuss Joe China. I can't stop saying it. We can have a discussion about whether that's the right way around in a minute.
I thought it should be China Joe. But,
well, let's get to a minute. Let's do the substance of it first.
Okay.
I mean, just look at this. I mean, President Trump, they're saying this, of all this investigation going on and this glaring, outrageous connection here, this financial ties, and no one's interested in investigating.
The media is not interested in reporting on the ties that Hunter Biden has to China. I'm shocked. But what's interesting is John Kerry's son-in-law and Hunter Biden, these aren't investor whiz kids. I mean, you're in the heart of New York. They could come here, and if they're that good, they'd get billions of dollars in the United States of America. But instead, they go to China, where political influence matters and buying off the American government matters. And they knew they can get to Joe Biden's heart through his son, Hunter Biden. This reeks to high heaven. And I'm just one who looks at this, and I think the media should report on it. They should expose it, just like they've gone after Donald Trump. And I mean, you look at President Trump.
Never mind the media. I mean, what's Congress doing here? I know you're not in control of the committees, but I mean, in the House. But shouldn't there be congressional investigation? I mean, the stuff they're looking into with Trump, I mean, compared to this.
Exactly. Like we talked about in the last block, we have over 6 committees investigating Trump for various things, and nothing is happening with that. It blows my mind, too, that the multiple levels from China that are a negative and a very real threat to our country. How is it that these billions of dollars of influence for decades has been ignored? We have them on the Arctic Circle Council as observers, but they've stated their interest in hydrocarbons, the shipping lanes, and also nuclear-powered submarines and icebreakers. We have them stealing intellectual property from us at the tune of $600 billion a year. We have also prosecuted the largest group of former intelligence agents, U.S., for conveying trade secrets, national defense trade secrets, to China in the last year. So in all facets, not to mention the human rights abuses, so in all facets, they are a very real threat, and those decades of influence is somehow being ignored.
And this is never mind, people get upset about Russia. China is by far a bigger threat economically, militarily. They literally have a stated goal of toppling America as the world superpower. How on earth could Joe Biden, if he's president, with a straight face, negotiate with a government who's put billions of dollars into his family's businesses?
Well, that's a great question. And also, I mean, it's reminiscent of Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation and the fact of course, all these different countries are going to try to buy access to Hillary Clinton when she was Secretary of State via the Clinton Foundation. And we saw that of foreign officials trying to access Hillary Clinton through the Clinton Foundation, trying to set up meetings because they couldn't get a hold of her via, official State Department channels. And you also look at the fact of, we've been talking about Russia collusion for, 2 years now. And if you want to look at your collusion, Hillary Clinton and this via the Steele dossier and literally paying to access Russian officials and people that are close to Putin, spies as well. That's where that information came from. So, but nobody's wanted to get to the bottom of that.
And the thing that's outrageous to me about all of this is that in the midst of all this, you've got President Trump, who, even his worst enemies would concede, is just sort of obsessed with America and doing the right thing for America. The idea that he's going to kind of sell out America.
And so,
here
you have Joe Biden, who puts his family first and their pockets book first by $1 billion going to his son, and Donald Trump puts America first.
Right.
A great distinction between the two of them.
So now let's have our debate. So do we put Joe first or China first? So I've gone out there with hashtag Joe China. A lot of you have said to me, it should be China Joe. Like, my reason is I think it's alliterative. Joe Biden, Joe China. That's my pitch.
But as I prepped for this, I thought it should be China Joe because China Joe flows a lot better, and so it's.
I know. A lot of you think that.
China Joe. Tell us what you think.
One of my favorite things that President Trump did was when he was having chocolate cake with President Xi and told him that he sent those Tomahawk missiles to Syria, because I thought that was such a power move to be sitting there having chocolate cake with him, looking in the face and saying, "This is what I just did. This is a different administration, and we're going to be dealing with you and Syria, North Korea, and Russia, and all these different countries much differently than the previous administration."
Right. Well, anyway, hashtag Joe China. I'm sticking with